I love my Juno. I have a Moog grandmother,
Okay.
which is really fun, and I haven't had for as long, but it's semi-modular, and that's really cool and like fun to just experiment with.
Yeah.
It's really good for like lead sounds and bass sounds. And then I recently got a Yamaha DX7, which I've been wanting forever, and that's been fun. I've only had it for like a few weeks now, but you know, just
what does it bring to the party?
It's like known for its presets.
Okay.
I may butcher this, or somebody might call me on my BS, but as far as I know,
I'm happy to get the comments.
Yeah. Hit us in the comments if you disagree.
Yeah, please engage.
Yeah, but I've heard that it was one of the first big synthesizers that had presets.
Okay.
So like instead of like, here's this Moog that like I have to tweak and change knobs and everything to get a certain sound, instead you just hit a button and it's like, oh, now I have a string sound.
Welcome to Outside the Algorithm, where you'll find a universe of independent voices. I am your host, Samuel Patrick, aka Drift Sonics, and today I'd like to introduce you to Teddy Roxpin. You may know him from his work with Mac Miller, Future, Michael Christmas, Logic, Apathy, or maybe you've seen him DJing on Monday Night Football with the main Squeeze. He has a wide range of music that he produces, and he stays in the mix with his fellow creatives. We actually went to a party after this and ended up in a music video by the end of the night. So that's just the way it goes in the life of Teddy. In this intro, we talked about the expanding role of the modern producer, how limitations can spark creativity, what he's got coming up, and dropped a bunch of gems for the producers out there. If you'd like to hear even more, our members have access to the full conversation, and you can too. It's easy to join, free to sign up. Just click the link in the description below, put in your email, and you'll have access to the whole interview. It's close to an hour long, and I definitely recommend it, especially if you're a producer or you're thinking about getting into production. We talked about plugins, hardware, mixing, all sorts of gems that can improve your creative process. Or even if you're just a fan and you want to get a look behind the scenes at what it's like for producers today, lots to unpack with Teddy. We talked about moving to LA, how to tap in the differences between East and West, etc., etc. But without further ado, allow me to introduce you to Teddy Roxpin.
We are in beautiful California.
Yes, indeed.
The birds are chirping.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Highland Park.
Yeah.
Do you want my zip code?
Please.
You want my address?
Yeah.
Social security number?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll DM you.
Last 4 digits.
Yeah. Not even.
Yeah, just the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to wear so many hats, dude. I feel like that's just like the current day producer, right? It's like there's so many things. You're producing, you're composing, you're arranging, you're engineering, you're writing sometimes like lyrics and stuff with the artist. You're mixing, you know, it's like all of these things. And then you have to think about sometimes about like promotion and, you know, marketing and whatever. It's like so many hats, dude.
So do you think that the definition or the job description of a producer has changed since you started, or do you think you've just stepped into a more full version of what it is?
That's an interesting question. I feel like a little bit of both, but probably more the latter.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to tell if I wasn't experiencing it before,
Right.
but I would assume that maybe. I think things have changed, and like producers are more like artists now.
Yeah.
And we're like, you know, I put out a beat tape or like a instrumental project in September with my homie Smiley on Chill Hop. Like that's like me as an artist, right?
Yeah.
And it's like anything like that is like I'm considered an artist. I'm not producing for someone else.
Yeah.
It's funny with my early scratching, both of like the first 2 or 3 whatever mixers I had, the crossfader would always break. So I like didn't really learn to scratch with the crossfader.
Really?
So I'd always use like the phono line switch. And so I'd like
Okay.
transform kind of. That's like how I knew how to scratch for a long time.
Ah.
But yeah, it was kind of always incorporated in some way.
Yeah,
I'd
it
say.
sounds like you're, I think it's a Jack White quote about limitations actually being the keys to creativity.
I agree with that.
It sounds like you've kind of encountered that the whole time.
100%, dude. Yeah, I like think about it all the time because now in Logic and then like with all the tools I have, it's just kind of like sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And there's just endless possibilities.
Yeah.
And like there's like how do you want to approach the song? And then within that, I do like all different genres and subgenres. So it's kind of, sometimes that can be a little overwhelming.
Yeah. Versus being like, well, that button's broken, so I can't use it.
Exactly.
Like, you know.
Exactly. And with GarageBand, like I said, I think it was so limiting that like it really gave me a certain type of sound and like a consistency.
Yeah.
It's like, this is how the process has to be.
Yeah.
And like, for instance, like there was no way when I was using GarageBand, no efficient way, at least that I found, to like pitch sounds.
Okay.
So like, if I want, when I started making like trap beats, for instance, there was no easy way to be like, here's one 808, I'm gonna pitch piano roll the 808 and play different tones. I literally had to take 108, 808, put it in Audacity, and then pitch a scale of 808s, and then I'd drag in each different note for what was, you know, what I needed. I like switching it up though, like the OP1, for instance. I really like using that. I mean, I use it mostly as a tool in my production to feed into Logic. Yeah. But it is also really fun to make beats on. And I mean, it is limiting, but it can also do so many different things. But it's like, it's limiting in the sense of like making a beat. You only have 4 tracks and like there's only, there's certain things you can't do that you could do in a DAW. So like, I like switching it up and doing things like that too.
Well, that's what I like about the PO is, for me, the PO is almost kind of like a meditation when I use it because you literally can't overthink it. It teaches you a lot about, I don't know if the OP is like this, but the PO, once you tweak a sound, it's almost impossible to get back to how it previously was. So you learn a lot about detachment. Like sometimes you just lose a sound and you're like, I don't know if I can get that back if I want to change it. So you kind of use what you have, and you also have, there's only so much you can do. It's hard to spend more than 40 minutes on a beat. It's like kind of nice. You just kind of, this is what I can do. And you do the coolest thing you can with that. And
well, that's like a huge thing, right? I mean, I feel like this conversation comes up a lot with other creatives is like committing, like being able to commit to something. Because if you don't, then, you know, there's just so many options. And like sometimes you want those options, but it is good to commit because then you start flowing. Like you're not, I've had times where I'm like spending 20 minutes on like a hi-hat delay. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what am I doing? This isn't making or breaking the beat. Who cares? And then it'll like slow the process and it won't be as natural. And it's like, well, why am I getting so technical with something? Or like, I don't know. It's just good to commit. And then like that, it becomes the thing. Otherwise you're not gonna make a decision.
Congrats on all this. It sounds like you've had a productive ass time out here in Los Angeles.
Thanks, man. I feel like it's pretty life-changing. I don't want to say you have to be here to make stuff happen, but I feel like it's been beneficial for me to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like it's probably been creatively beneficial for sure, but also business-wise as well. Like I noticed the Dolce & Gabbana ad and stuff like this. Are you behind the scenes working the placement stuff out here? Or like the sync?
The sync stuff is definitely a whole other world that I didn't tap into until I was here. And that's really great. That one, this Las Vegas ad we got last year was great. It was like a Las Vegas tourism ad. Nice. I've done like Jack in the Box, Budweiser, like getting these commercials and stuff has been really nice. And it's just a whole other side to making money in the music business.
And you can do that from anywhere. I don't want to have people think you need to come to LA to do that, but do you find that it's simpler? I don't know how often you're like meeting people in person to do that. Is it simpler out here?
I think it's kind of like a chain reaction thing. It's like I'm not necessarily like meeting with people in person about a sync project, but it's kind of like the more you're here and the more you network, the more people you know, and you're just showing face in more places and people are like, oh, that's so-and-so, or meet so-and-so. And it, you know, just networking. And so like, I think that's the most important thing about being here is just being here. And, you know, if you're dope and you're a cool person, it's probably going to work eventually. If you just keep meeting people. Yeah,
it does seem like patience is the vibe in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I was here for like a year or two before stuff kind of started happening.
Yeah.
And so I know people that gave it like 6 months and then moved back, and it's like, you got to give it more time than that.
All right, shout out to Teddy Roxpin, and thank you for joining us. In this convo, we talked a lot about how in LA, it's not about what you can do so much as who you know and how they can plug you in. And as I was listening back, I found myself thankful that Teddy was one of the guys I met out here. Not only him, but some of the other artists I've tapped in with, Ramon Tristan, Yoshi Vintage, AJ the One, and a bunch more that are coming on the way in later episodes of Outside the Algorithm. Very thankful for the community around me and the artists and fans and just, you know, people in general I've met along my journey. So thank you for rocking with us today. If you'd like to hear more, that link is right below in the description. It's free to become a member and you'll get access to that whole interview, plus all the other Outside the Algorithm interviews. You'll be subscribed to our newsletter, so you'll get monthly updates, not only from us, but music videos we're feeling, interviews, mixes, and all sorts of things. Plus, you'll be a part of what makes this possible. I truly appreciate you for tuning in, and hit us with any questions, comments, etc. below or at LFOD Life on all social media. You can also see what else we have going on at www.lfod.life. Thanks again to Teddy Roxpin, the whole LFOD fam, and all our members for making this possible. We're gonna play a clip from the full interview after this if you'd like to check that out. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Are you familiar with the plugin XO by XLN? Shout out to XLN.
Maybe. I haven't used it, I don't think.
I swear by this thing.
Yeah.
I think it's dope for anyone that produces and like takes their drums seriously.
Yeah.
And like has that problem of like, oh man, I'm digging through folder upon folder of drum sounds.
Yeah.
It's just like a drum organization plugin.
Okay.
And so it like you just dump all your samples into it, and then it organizes them by frequency, and then it's like color coded, and it looks like a galaxy of stars pretty much, and each star is a different drum sound. And so it color codes it, like red is kicks and like blue is snares, yellow is hi-hat. And then there's like kind of all these like little crossover points.
Yeah.
You can get like put tone sounds in it too. And like there's different filters within the searchability. It's really a very cool plugin. You can also like build like drum patterns in it. It's got like one of those like, you click the points like almost like a Fruity Loops, FL type of like drum.
Like a
sequencer type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Positivity is a better movement. Let us do this, level up and get into this evolution. Revolutionary method music, get us choosing everything but less excuses. Shout out to the kings and queens with everything to lose, they never lose it.
There's so much glory in the story.